Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation for today is Purbi Mahalla Chautha, Gaudi Purbi Mahalla Chautha. Tum Dayal Sarab Dukh Bhanjan, ek bino suno de kane, जिस ते तुम हर जाने स्वामी, सो सतगुर मेल मेरा प्राणे। राम हम सतगुर पार ब्रह्म कर माने, हम मूढ़ मुग्ध असुध मति होते, गुर सतगुर कै बचन हर हम जाने। रहाओ जितने रस अनरस हम देखे, सब तितने फीक फिकाने। हर का नाम अमृत रस चाखिया, मिल सतगुर मीठ रस गाने। जिनको गुर सतगुर नहीं भेटिया, ते साकत मूढ़ दीवाने। तिनके कर्महीन धुर पाए, देख दीपक मोहे पहचाने। जिनको तुम दया कर मेलो, ते हर हर सेव लगाने। जन नानक हर 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 जप प्रगटे, मति गुरमत नाम समाने. So what we are noticing in the past few sabads is a continuing theme, namely the definition and need for a Satgur. If you recall, a few passages ago, it was the definition of the Satgur that the passage began with. Jis miliye man hoye anand, so Satgur kahiye. Upon meeting whom the mind experiences bliss, that is called the Satgur. Now, the Satgur could be a principle, which it is, principle of knowledge. It could also be embodied in a person, and it could also be written as text. So the person that has given us Gurbani is also the Satgur. And in this case, it is the line of gurus that the Sikhs have owned. So in this passage then, that theme kind of continues, and the Guru says, addressing the Almighty Self, he says, Tum Dayal, you are merciful. Sarab Dukh Bhanjan, dispeller of all sorrow. Ik bino suno, ik bino, listen to the one supplication. De kane, in other words, pay attention, please, lend me your ear. I have a supplication to make. And what is the supplication? It says, connect me to the Satgur, who is the breath of my life, the support, so that I can know you, my Har, self, my master. Jiste tum har janne, you, the Har. So Satguru mel mera paranne, jiste tum har janne swami, so Satgur mel mera paranne, so that I can know you as my Har and as my master. So then the Satgur is the portal through which one must enter in order to connect with the inner self. And in the Rahau, the Guru goes a step further and says, indeed, Not only do I want to connect with the Satgur, but the Satgur for me is indeed the Par Brahm, the absolute being itself. I make no distinction between the Satgur and the Par Brahm. Why? Because the Satgur embodies the knowledge of Par Brahm, and there is no difference between the knowledge and the Par Brahm, because the Par Brahm is not a physical thing. It is of the essence. So there is no distinction between the knowledge of that thing. I'm using the word thing, which could mislead people into believing it as an entity, which it isn't. But here we are faced with the limitation of language. So, Ram, hum Satgur Par Brahm kari manne. For me, the Par Brahm and the Satgur are one. I make no distinction. The only reason I make distinctions, or we make distinctions, is because hum mood mugad asuddh mati hote. Because we are bewildered, we are confused. Mood. Mugad, stupefied. When you have a little alcohol, you're stupefied. You're not seeing things clearly. And that is the state we're in. Asuddhamati. Asuddh means an understanding and an intellect that's corrupted, that is not pure. Corrupted with what? Corrupted with the sense of ego. Ego identification corrupts the intellect. So, hum mood, mugad, asuddh, mati hote. That is how we are. That is how we are. That is why we don't recognize the Satgur to be an embodiment of the Parabrahm. Gur Satgur ke bachan har hum janne. It is only through the bachan, the utterance of the Satgur, that we know the inner self. Satgur Par Brahm kar manne and Satgur ke bachan har hum janne. So you see the connection, because it is all about inner knowledge. And now a comparison is being made between the Satgur as a conduit of knowledge versus the experience of a person's life living in ego consciousness, pursuing ideas and methods that are not gurmat. So therefore, the Guru says, Jitne ras, anras ham dekhe, sab titne feek fikane. All the different forms of devotion, love that I have seen are pale and insipid in comparison to Har Ka Naam. Because Har Ka Naam is Amrit Ras Chakhya. When I tasted that knowledge, Amrit Ras Chakhya, through the Guru, Mil Satguru, Meet Ras Gane, it was sweet like a sugar cane. And Feek Fikane, pale, insipid in comparison. Now this is the Guru speaking after the experience. Now Ras and Anras is an interesting kind of set of words. Ras has several connotations, but it revolves around the essence of a thing or a sentiment. It also is used for an aesthetic sense. And so Anras is false sentiments, which means pretensions or trying to conceal reality. And in the tradition of bhakti within the Indian context, ras has been classified in various ways. In fact, they suggest that there are 8 fundamental rasas. And ras also signifies pure love, the love that comes out of bhakti. And as we have talked about this in the past, bhakti is the basis of Sikhi, but it carries with it a slightly different connotation from the broader context of bhakti, and it is good to know what that difference is. We talked about it. So other methods, other ways of thinking, other thought processes, other ideas other than Gurmat are all feek fikane. And even life experienced without Gurmat is feek fikane. It is pale and insipid. It is only when you are in Gurmat that you really begin to experience a superior quality of existence. And the Guru says, Jinko Gur Satgur nahi petya, te sakat mood diwane. So we are cynical, we don't look for the Satgur. And then we are confused and directionless. Mood diwane, mood confused, diwane without direction, crazy, mad. But now here's the clincher. All of this is happening in Hukam, because the Guru reminds us, lest we become judgmental. The Guru reminds us, Tinke karamiheen tur paye, Tinke, the cynics, the doubters, those who do not look for the Satgur, Tinke karamiheen, they are devoid of grace, unfortunately. And they sacrifice themselves for the love of the world. Deepak mohe pachane, dekh Deepak, like a moth, flies over a candle flame and sacrifices itself. Similarly, those who do not find the Satgur because they're in love with duality, with the material world pretty much, they're sacrificing themselves for something that doesn't have the same value. So, jinko tum daya kar milo. So, it is a matter of grace. Jinko tum daya kar milo. For those who you cause to meet the Satgur, te har har sev lagane. They then serve the har, the absolute supreme being. Jana nanak har jap pragate. Says Nanak, by understanding her through Gurmat, the her self was made manifest. Jan Nanak har jap prakate, mat Gurmat naam samane. Samane is to cohere, to become like. That is now the process. So Guru Ram Das has spent quite a few passages trying to explain to us that 1, the Satgur is indispensable, 2, look for the Satgur, and 3, pray for the grace so that you find the Satgur. On that note, until the next time, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.